Today's trip down the Turnpike is brought to you by Drizzly, your online liquor store. Available in over 95 cities across North America, Drizzly offers a huge selection and competitive pricing with a side of personalized content. Now there's no need to leave the house. Get alcohol delivered in less than an hour by Drizzly. Head on over to drizzly.com and order today. And now get $5 off your first order of $20 or more when using promo code DRINK19 at checkout. Shop beer, wine, and liquor with drizzly.com. Welcome to Turnpike Sports. I'm Dave Weishuttle, and as always, I'm joined by my producer and co-host, Doug Weishuttle. Doug, it was nice to see live sports, but the UFC was a little weird without spectators. I mean, it was great to see UFC, just a little flat. You know, you don't realize how much you miss the spectator aspect of live sports.
Well, just like WrestleMania was held without an audience.
I didn't see WrestleMania. I'm sorry.
I thought that
it
was actually kind of weird to watch it because it was a two-night event instead of one big night. And same thing. It was a little flat, I would say, but everyone put on a great show. It was Saturday was full of live sports. You had pro bull riding going on. You had tennis was even televised on the Tennis Channel. It was actually almost a normal sports day.
Yeah, but right now I'm looking for baseball. What was it? The Korean Baseball League or
KBO?
I haven't seen too much of it, but
I watched it, and it's actually not bad baseball. It's not MLB baseball. It's not the product we're used to in the United States. And thank God this week MLB has been accepting plans to restart the season.
Sure.
So we'll see exactly when they actually relaunch. But live sports is starting to come back.
Yeah, just easing into it. And speaking of sports, we got a great interview coming up with CEO and founder of Boom Sports, Stephen Murphy. Boom Sports is going to make a lot of noise in the gambling industry. They just signed an incredible deal with Penn National Gaming, and we're going to talk all about it. Boom Sports, remember that name. You're going to hear a lot about them. And then we're also going to have a Turnpike Sports Book Report where we talk about what's going on in the sports books across the country. Well, like I said, it's pretty interesting week in sports, so let's take a trip down the Turnpike. And today's trip down the Turnpike is brought to you by Drizzly, your online liquor store. Available in over 95 cities across North America, Drizzly offers a huge selection and competitive pricing with a side of personalized content. Now there's no need to leave the house. Get alcohol delivered in less than an hour by Drizzly. Head on over to drizzly.com and order today, and now get $5 off your first order of $20 or more when using our promo code DRINK19 at checkout. Shop beer, wine, and liquor with drizzly.com.
Exit 1.
Well, as we're waiting for all the 5 major sports leagues to come back into the live...
5 major? Are you talking about soccer? Are you adding soccer?
You have to add soccer
okay.
now. You have to add soccer. So, while we're waiting for the 5 major league sports to relaunch...
I think we annoyed all the soccer fans
exactly.
out there when I say you're considering them the 5 major sports. Okay, soccer. All right.
At some point, we may have a brand new addition to the sports betting family.
Okay.
The Pro Bowlers Association.
Ooh.
There are reports out there that the PBA and its commissioner have been talking with the gaming commissions and some of the other sports gaming companies about launching sports betting for the Pro Bowlers Tour.
You know, when I was a kid, in February when there was a lull in the sports right after the Super Bowl and you're waiting for baseball and, nighttime was for hockey and for, basketball, they always had ABC the Pro Bowlers Tour with Chris Schenkel, who was outstanding. He was, I think you watch the Pro Bowler Tour just to listen to Chris Schenkel. But, I'm glad maybe this will catapult pro bowling into another stratosphere.
Well, Pro Bowlers Association is no longer on ABC.
I know.
I'm
showing my age.
No, they're still on TV. They're still on broadcast TV with Fox.
Fox, okay. All
and
right.
as a matter of fact, you're talking about going into another stratosphere. Just a couple numbers. The 2019 Tournament of Champions had 1.1 million viewers.
That's pretty good.
Yep. And then in 2020, they had 1.4 million viewers, just under 1.5 million, as a matter of fact. So the audience is there for pro bowling.
Sure.
But the sport itself actually lends itself to sports betting very well.
Look, if you can bet on darts or whatever, ping pong, guess what? Pro bowling should be there.
This is what they're talking about. Not only is it individual betting, person to person,
Okay.
the match.
Yeah.
You have the teams you can bet on, which team is going to beat which other team.
All right. Okay.
There's also talk about over-under on strikes, over-under on spares.
Wow. Okay.
And also, every single throw is possible to have a bet on it.
In-game betting with
Pro Bowling.
Pro Bowler. Okay. Yeah.
So, again, we have five major sports. I keep saying soccer is a major sport.
Okay.
You're going to maybe see at some point. There's no time frame for this. They just started talking. You may see the Pro Bowlers Association or pro bowling, 10-pin bowling, not the candle pin, not the other stuff, but 10-pin bowling that you see on the broadcast as a sports betting option.
It'd be interesting to see when you watch bowling today. They're like race car drivers with their shirts. The different products that they sell are different advertisers.
The sponsors.
It'd be very interesting to see if a sports book sponsored a bowler.
That's probably going to come too. So we'll see exactly
interesting
about that. That may actually come before the sports betting options,
right.
but we don't know.
Exit 2.
And speaking of other sports betting options, everyone's been watching while the live sports have been on hiatus, I guess that's the way to phrase it right now.
Mm-hmm.
They've been watching esports and some of the virtual sports.
Oh, yeah. I've been watching the iRacing and the NASCAR, or did I say that right? The iGaming. I know iGaming is right. Is it called iNASCAR?
You have iRacing,
okay,
which goes that's the actual simulation.
Okay.
Then you have eNASCAR.
eNASCAR, okay.
And then you have iRock or
I got to tell you, that's been
League of Legends.
That's been
all that stuff.
slowly becoming part of my Sunday afternoon. The eNASCAR.
Well, NASCAR is going to be starting up again, so
Okay.
I don't know if they're going to continue the iNASCAR iRacing series, eNASCAR iRacing series.
Yeah.
But the traditional esports, I can't believe I'm calling them traditional esports. There's always been this issue of whether match fixing or cheating has been a problem.
Really?
Especially now that they're betting on it.
Okay, yeah, no. Now they got the light shined upon them. Now they have to...
they have to take it a little bit more seriously.
Yeah,
there have been cases of match fixing and cheating in the past. Mm-hmm. And now with Nevada, New Jersey, a lot of other states allowing betting on esports, the integrity of the match has become an issue. Like what we've just been talking about with cheating and match fixing.
Really? Okay.
So Blizzard Activision, or Activision Blizzard, has entered into a multi-year deal with Sport Radar.
Good.
Sport Radar, as everyone knows, is an integrity company.
Sure.
They provide live betting odds and also, fraud prevention methods for some of the sports books out there. If some people see oddities in the betting patterns of some of these sports, they have the tools to monitor the integrity and also to investigate whether there's some sort of fraud going on.
Good, I'm glad. You need that. I mean, especially if you're betting on these matches, you need something to tell the consumer that, this is on the up and up and, it's nothing underhanded is going on. That's good.
Well, this is a case of a publisher taking action, Activision Blizzard.
It's a smart move.
And this is only for two of their leagues right now. The Overwatch League,
which is huge, I guess.
Yeah,
that is one of leagues.
It's one of the top 4 leagues discussed on internet, shown on Twitch, shown on YouTube, and also the Call of Duty League.
Yeah, well, they're the two big ones, right?
Yep, and you're going to see a lot more interest in the integrity of the matches.
Exit 3.
Speaking of streaming, and I guess I'm taking everyone down the trip down the Turnpike the right way here, the NFL has announced a 3-year extension with its partnership with Amazon. which also includes Twitch, since Twitch is now owned by Amazon.
All right. I got to be honest. Are you saying the NFL has been shown on Amazon?
They have been Amazon Prime. They actually had
they have a show there, right?
They have like a Hard Knocks type show.
Yeah, I forgot what the name of the show is.
But also last year they also had the first broadcast crewed by all women team. The
female broadcasters. Yes, that was great. Yeah,
the announcers as well as the crew itself were all female. So that was Amazon Prime.
Okay.
So what they've done here is they've had a 3-year extension given to Amazon where they're going to have exclusive rights to a Saturday game, in one Saturday game every season for the next 3 years.
Well, for the NFL, I know Saturday games are toward the end of the year. So, but with regard to the coronavirus, who knows now? Because if the NCAA doesn't play football, there's been some talk that the NFL could have some games on Saturday. So,
especially if they have to push back the season, too.
Yeah, no. So this is a very interesting deal in a very interesting time in history here. So
what's going on is Amazon Prime will have the rights to stream one game on a Saturday.
All right.
Also on broadcast TV, the game that they are going to be doing, the Amazon game.
Yeah.
Only the local markets will have them on TV in that area. No one else on broadcast TV will see that game.
So, wait, say if I wanted to see an LA Rams game and I'm in New Jersey, the only way I can see the LA Rams game is if
that
I
particular
do
game.
Amazon. Okay.
Right.
All right. Okay.
So if it's like Rams Cardinals.
So if it's an out-of-market game for you, you can watch it on Amazon.
If Amazon and the NFL agree to stream like a Rams Arizona Cardinals game.
Okay.
Only the Cardinals.
Me being in New Jersey, I would probably not be able to see that.
The only markets that'll see
Amazon.
it would be L.A. and the Cardinals.
Okay.
And Arizona.
All right. Okay.
Those markets will have it. The local markets will have it.
Okay. All right.
And they're going to be doing this for the next 3 seasons, 2021, 2022, and also this current season coming up whenever it starts due to the coronavirus. Now, also
now, how much will this be for consumers here? I'm curious about. Do you have to
stream for free?
Oh, okay.
From what I'm understanding,
wow.
If you already have a subscription, that's fine. But is
this Amazon Prime?
This is Amazon Prime.
So I would need
Twitch.
So I would need a subscription, wouldn't I?
For Amazon Prime, you probably would.
But maybe Twitch.
You'd be able to see it for free.
Interesting.
Depending on what you remember.
So this is still up in the air right now.
No
one knows how this is going to work, right?
But what's interesting, there's
a possibility.
This is another step for the NFL trying to do a global stream.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know if this is they're thinking that they won't need the networks after a while, and just do a national digital stream or international digital stream. I don't know yet, but this is a step towards seeing a global stream for the NFL and their games.
Sure.
Exit 4.
Well, we don't have live baseball yet.
No.
Live Major League Baseball, I should say.
Nope.
But it hasn't stopped the Brewers from doing a deal for a fantasy sports provider.
Okay.
Monkey Knife Fight. Which is, I just love the name.
Oh, it's the greatest name in sports.
Yeah, I haven't had
Monkey Knife.
I haven't had a reason to say Monkey Knife Fight on the air before.
Sure,
but now I can. Monkey Knife Fight. I'm going to say it again. Monkey Knife Fight has done a deal with the Milwaukee Brewers to be their exclusive fantasy sports provider. Now MLB has.
So this is fantasy sports,
and
right?
Also this is team specific.
Okay, all right.
Milwaukee Brewers only.
All right.
Major League Baseball already has deals in place with FanDuel and DraftKings for fantasy sports. But Monkey Knife Fight will be the official daily fantasy sports provider for the Milwaukee Brewers. They're going to have signage in the new stadium, or actually the newly renamed stadium, which is going to happen January 1st. That's going to be the American Family Field as of January 1st.
Okay.
So wherever you see a Brewers game, if it happens before January 1st and whatever the field name is right now, you're going to see Monkey Knife Fight signs everywhere.
Wow, pretty cool.
And this is not their first deal, not Monkey Knife Fight's first deal with a pro team.
All right.
They have done one with the XFL's Los Angeles Wildcats before that league went defunct.
Is XFL defunct?
They're trying to sell the league.
Okay. All right. So there's
they
some glimmer of life with the XFL?
If it was a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, I'd worry, but Chapter 11 means it's a reorganization plan. They can sell the assets, that sort of thing. And also, Monkey Knife Fight also has a deal in place with the Los Angeles Chargers.
Okay, all right.
So whenever you see a Chargers home game, you're going to see some Monkey Knife Fight signage somewhere there. I don't know if they're going to do anything on the television broadcast, but you will see Monkey Knife Fight signs in that stadium.
I got to check it out. It should be.
It's a very cool company, and another up and comer into the fantasy sports field.
All right. And today's trip down the Turnpike was brought to you by Drizzly, your online liquor store available in over 95 cities across North America. Drizzly offers a huge selection and competitive pricing with a side of personalized content. Now there's no need to leave the house. Get alcohol delivered in less than an hour by Drizzly. Head on over to drizzly.com and order today, and now get $5 off your first order of $20 or more when using promo code DRINK19 at checkout. Shop beer, wine, and liquor with drizzly.com.
And to get in touch with Turnpike Sports, 609-512-5910 is the caller line or text line, 609-512-5910. At Turnpike Sports is the handle for us on Facebook and Twitter. info@turnpikesportsradio.com is our email address. Don't forget to subscribe to the show through Pandora Podcast, the radio.com digital app, iTunes, iHeartMedia also distributes us, Stitcher. And also you can watch us on your smart TV, Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV. Just head on over to turnpikesportsradio.com and click on our smart TV channel link.
And later on, we're going to have a Turnpike Sports Book Report where we talk about the sports books across this country and what's going on with them. But right after this, I'm going to be talking with the CEO and founder of Boom Sports, Stephen Murphy. Boom Sports is an up-and-coming gaming company. They just did an amazing deal with Penn National Gaming, and we're going to hear all about Boom Sports. So stick around. We'll be right back with more Turnpike Sports.
Psst. Yeah, you. Come here. Haven't you heard? We don't need to hide anymore.
Now, we can shop privately for adult products at adamandeve.com. They've got massage oils, lingerie, and lots more we can't mention here.
Use offer code SPICE404.
They'll give you 50% off almost any one item, 3 free DVDs, free mystery gift, and free shipping. That's 50% off, free shipping, and more. Private shopping starts at adamandeve.com.
Credit card debt can ruin your life. If you owe $10,000 and minimum payments are siphoning away your paycheck each month, you can get debt-free in less time than you think.
I've paid $800 a month for the past 3 years and haven't changed the balance on my credit card.
Get Debt-Free Now has a program to reduce your debt, stop the harassing phone calls, avoid financial ruin, and settle for less than you owe.
I feel like a huge weight has been lifted off my shoulders.
You're pre-approved for our special hardship program if you owe $10,000 or more. Upon payment of your new lower balance, your debt will finally shrink until you are debt-free.
My family no longer has 30 years of payments ahead of us at 20% interest.
There's no fees until you see results. So call now, make one monthly program payment, and free up your cash. Resolve your debt.
Call 800-515-1558. 800-515-1558.
Welcome back to Turnpike Sports. Sports betting and online gaming are spreading across this country, and there are lots of gaming companies out there scrambling to get your attention. You probably heard most of them on this show, but Boom Sports is a name you're going to hear a lot of in the gambling world. They recently completed a major deal with Penn National Gaming for sports betting and online gaming, and to tell us all about Boom Sports, we are joined by the CEO and founder of Boom Sports, Stephen Murphy. Stephen, thank you for joining us.
Thanks so much, guys. Great to be here.
Can you tell us a little bit about the origins of Boom Sports? When did it start and who's involved with it?
Yeah, Yeah, of course. So Boom Sports is a 5-year-old company. It was founded out in Silicon Valley in California. We moved to New York shortly thereafter. And, we started actually as a daily fantasy sports company, as a sort of more casual, friendly alternative to FanDuel and DraftKings. But as the Supreme Court decision came that changed the sports betting landscape, we pivoted to B2B games. And so we build products for NBC Sports, for Penn National, for Barstool Sports, for NASCAR, for the XFL. And we've kind of earned a reputation as being a game creator for top tier partners. Then, of course, this past couple of weeks, we announced a deal that will allow us to operate our own mobile sportsbook and online casino.
I got to tell you, the first time I heard about Boom Sports was as a daily fantasy provider. And is that primarily how you started off in the gaming market?
Yeah, it absolutely is. 5 years ago, FanDuel and DraftKings were of course much smaller companies. They'd raised some money, but they were much smaller companies. And, for me, I was fascinated by it, right? It was effectively the first kind of legal online sports gaming in the U.S. And I had been in the industry for quite some time. And so I was excited to sort of throw my hat in the ring and try to compete. And, for us, we started as daily fantasy, and we still actually have a daily fantasy platform called Boom Fantasy. That again is focused on pick'em contests and progressive jackpots and things of that nature. But the majority of our business has now become B2B.
You talked about the fantasy aspect of Boom Fantasy, and it's not exactly the same as your daily fantasy sports that everyone's acquainted with, the salary cap model. Tell us how Boom Fantasy differs from the traditional salary cap model of daily fantasy sports.
Yeah, so our goal is to really build contests that what we call true sports fans will enjoy. So, I consider myself a pretty big sports fan, but that said, I don't have time to do lots of research, or I don't have time to, or desire to sign up for tools to help me build a better lineup, right? Yeah. So for us, we build contests that are designed to be pretty sort of intuitive. So a typical question for us is, who will score more points tonight, Steph Curry or LeBron James? So they're pick-em in nature, where you never have more than 4 choices on a screen, and usually you have 2 choices. And based on the number of those you get correct, you can win a life-changing amount of money. I mean, we have one contest where if you answer 8 questions in a row, you can 10,000 extra money. And so it's a pretty cool thing for fans who don't want to necessarily compete against a guy who has 150 or 300 lineups in a contest.
That's what I loved about fantasy, Boom Fantasy. I mean, a lot of people don't have enough time to do all the research, or we didn't buy the algorithms that these, I guess, professional fantasy players use. Was that your motivation, that anyone can do your fantasy sports platform and not have tons and tons of research in front of them, or a algorithm to help them pick their teams?
Yeah, absolutely. We wanted to create a social, casual-friendly version of fantasy sports, and that's exactly what we want to create as a sports book as well. I actually often think about my mom when I think about how to build a great sports book. And my mom is a big Notre Dame fan living in New Jersey, and, we want to create a mobile sports book that she would want to use, that wouldn't intimidate her. And I think it's actually a very different sports book than what's out there in the market in New Jersey and other places. I think, although some of the operators have done a very nice job of gaining market share, in my opinion, they all sort of look and feel the same. They're all numbers heavy. They're a bit intimidating to sort of newer sports bettors. And we really want to build products that for sports fans who don't gamble on sports, we want to introduce them to betting. And for sports fans who already gamble on sports, we want to offer them all kinds of new ways to bet, and we're excited to do that.
You know, I'm always interested in how companies start up. I recently did an interview with Albert Chen, who is a Sports Illustrated editor and writer, and he wrote Billion Dollar Fantasy, which is the story about how DraftKings and FanDuel started out. I mean, he described how they had to get the technology developed and working properly. He had to get the right people involved, and then they had to look for investors to fund the business. Is that a similar story for Boom Sports? Is that the process you had to go through to create Boom Sports?
Yeah, I mean, each story has its similarities and each are quite different, right? But, you know, we just celebrated our 5-year anniversary of Boom, and so we actually did a little trip down memory lane thinking about the best of times and the worst of times. Mm-hmm. And, you know, especially that first year, it was a roller coaster, right? Like, I think to start a company, especially, you know, I'm a first-time founder. I'd never started a business before. You know, for us, we needed to raise some money, and so we were able to raise you know, some investment money. And then, yeah, you have to build it from scratch. And so for a long time, it was 5 people at the company. We're much bigger now, but it was 5 people at the company, mostly engineers, just developing the product from scratch. And then, of course, when daily fantasy, when you know, everything hit the fan in New York, especially with the Attorney General, you know, you wondered if the business would continue. And so there were definitely some you know, roller coaster moments, especially that first year. Things definitely stabilized, you know, in later years. But yeah, it's the daily fantasy industry in particular. I think starting a startup is hard no matter what industry you start in. But if you look at daily fantasy sports, I mean, if you know, you guys remember in 2015, there were probably 100 daily fantasy sports startups.
Yeah.
And there's very few that have survived and have grown, and we're happy to be one of them.
Now, as you said, Boom Sports is moving beyond daily fantasy sports and going into creating a sports book and an online casino. Has operating a successful daily fantasy site allowed you for a smoother growth to the online casino and sports book, or is daily fantasy sports a totally different animal with a completely different business plan?
Yeah, there's a lot of similarities, which I think will help us, right? You know, everything from geolocation to age verification to some of the technology and wallet is all the same. And so we built, you know, our platform in-house and by our own developers. And so a lot of the technology that we've already built, we can reutilize for a sportsbook. Definitely some different components as well, but there's a lot of crossover. And then just from an operational standpoint, you know, we have experience marketing and advertising and doing CRM and getting customers back, especially what I would say are American sports fans. Which, you know, American sports fans are different than European sports fans, right? It's a much more diversified audience. They like a lot more different sports. You know, you think about the European sports books, they're primarily focused on soccer, right? So it's actually a different sort of beast in the U.S., and we think that experience will serve us well.
You know, I'm curious about something, and I think you're the guy to ask. Has the legalization of sports betting affected in any way the audience for daily fantasy sports? Or, again, are they a totally different customer base than the sports bettor?
You know, it's almost it's seemingly unintuitive, but our daily fantasy market in the states that have legalized sports betting has actually gone up.
Really?
And I think the reason for that is because of just almost the advertising that's happening by sports books. And it's just sort of educating everybody that, hey, sports gaming, it's reminding people that you can do a lot, you know, in terms of just sports betting, sports gaming and whatnot. So even the daily fantasy contest that we've seen in you know, states like New Jersey and others, has gone up. Now, again, for us, our focus, candidly, has not been on daily fantasy for some time now. Mm-hmm. You know, we've been pretty much just letting that platform run while we have focused our energy and attention on these sort of mass casual free-to-play products as well as our sportsbook. So on the free-to-play products, you know, we also run a couple well-known products, one of which is called NBC Sports Predictor. That's a product that had over 1 million users last year. Promoted on Sunday Night Football, promoted on Premier League in the morning, you know, obviously branded by our great partners at Comcast and NBC Sports. But a lot of our attention has been building out those products, which are generating quite a lot of usage and engagement across the U.S.
Well, another deal I want to talk about is Boom Sports recently signed a deal with Penn National Gaming. Tell us about that deal and what can we expect from this partnership?
Yeah, we're super excited about that deal. I think, you know, you talk about the difficulties of a startup. And I think one of the difficulties of a startup, especially in casino gaming and sports betting, is it's very difficult to acquire market access and licenses to do your own sports book. And the reason why is, these licenses are often controlled by the big land-based casinos, and the land-based casinos can be wary of working with an unproven company. I think we just sort of fit the bill of having, several years of experience in the U.S., having a background in gaming where, Penn National felt comfortable and excited to work with us. But this deal is actually a pretty unique deal in that we will get licenses and market access to operate our own mobile sportsbook and online casino in 5 U.S. states, Ohio, Missouri, Louisiana, Mississippi, and New Mexico to start. And we will build Penn National a variety of products for them and their associated brands so that they can help grow their user base. And so when I say their brands, we launched a product for them for NASCAR. They have a deal with NASCAR, so we launched a product called NASCAR Finish Line, again, a mobile gaming product, free to play. And then, we will build stuff for their Barstool brand, which they have a significant ownership percentage of Barstool Sports. And so, we're excited to launch those products in the near future.
You actually predicted my next question. I know Penn National has deals with NASCAR and Barstool. I mean, certainly you talked about the NASCAR product that you're having. Anything with Barstool Sports that you're going to do, and anything that you can share with us right now?
Yeah, I can only share a limited amount because it's not out in the market yet.
Sure.
But we are developing Barstool products for Penn National. And so I think with their sort of engagement and user base, I think they'll do quite well, and we're excited. But you can expect to see them this year.
Now, you mentioned the 5 states you have an access deal with, and now I know Boom Sports is located in New York, and I noticed that 2 of the bigger gaming markets in your backyard, New Jersey and Pennsylvania, was not in that list. Was that a strategic move by Boom Sports to go to these 5 specific states that you're going to have access to?
It was, and I'll tell you why. We want to be there in a state on day one. When a new state opens up for mobile sports betting and mobile online gaming, we want to be one of the first several sports books to launch. I think it's very difficult to launch into a crowded market, and I think that's why you saw FanDuel and DraftKings, rush to be first, and I think they had a lot of other things going for them as well. But that served them well. It served them well in these states to be the first mobile sportsbook app on a consumer's phone. And so that alone, isn't enough, but it's not a small thing. And so when we were discussing which states we wanted to target for our sportsbook launch, we strategically chose a handful of states that we call second wave states, right? States that have what we think are a high likelihood of legalizing mobile sports betting in the next 2 years, but are purposely not legal now.
Now, every state has different laws and regulations when it comes to gambling and sports betting. In the 5 states you have access agreements with, has all the legislation been enacted that clears the way for sports betting and online casinos, or are you still waiting for some of the states to enact these laws?
Yeah, we're definitely still waiting. It's a process, which is always the case in state legislatures. But they're all sort of in progress. So the legislation is in progress, and we're excited and optimistic about their passage within the next 12 to 24 months.
Now, for people in the states that you have access to, what can they expect from Boom Sports? It's primarily mobile sports books and online casinos. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Our goal is to change how fans bet on sports. We think gambling is fun, but like I mentioned before, we think most of the gambling apps that are out there are fairly dismal. They're effectively like 90s web browsers plastered onto your phone. And so we're going to launch a mobile sports book that is going to win on technology and ideally and hopefully is going to win on user experience. We want to be the most user-friendly and innovative mobile sports book in the states we operate. So sports fans can expect to see a lot of sort of new ways to bet. So think about PointsBet in New Jersey, right? That's a kind of a unique concept. We're just going to develop several sort of new IP that we will launch that will introduce a new sort of way to gamble on sports. And we're excited to do that.
In the news lately, there's been a lot of talk about esports and virtual sports. I know NASCAR has been shown a lot on TV a couple of times. What do you think the future of betting on esports and virtual sports will be? And does Boom Sports have any plans with regard to these virtual sports?
Yeah, for sure. And we've done a bit. We actually, for NASCAR, we have recently launched an iRacing contest for them. So we're definitely involved in this market. And generally, I'm bullish and optimistic that it's going to continue to grow. I think that the passion and the audience numbers around esports are pretty stunning, although they do skew younger, right? And so as you think about it from a betting perspective, my guess is it'll still be a few years before it becomes a big revenue driver for sportsbooks and the like. But I do think it will come with time.
With regard to your sports books, what kind of sports will you be offering to your customers? I'm asking that because I'm sitting here in New Jersey, and I never thought I'd place a bet on darts or hockey from Belarus, and none of that went well for me, by the way. What kind of sports can customers expect from Boom Sports?
Yeah, new sports, same old story. I honestly, all sports, right? In some ways, this has been sort of funny for me to view because I've always viewed the best sort of gaming platform to be one that's 24 hours a day. Now, again, like people can come in and play when they want, but I love the notion of having live sumo wrestling streamed onto the app that you can bet on, right? So I definitely plan on us building a platform that is really, really diverse in our sport offering. I think, again, what we want to do is we want to be diverse on our sport offerings. We want to be very, very competitive on price. But we also don't want to overwhelm the users with options, right? We have sort of an Apple approach where we want to give our consumers a very customized user experience that they feel like they are comfortable in our product. And so we want to be the best at price. We want to be the best on technology. But we don't necessarily want to overwhelm them with 500 different things to bet on in a single game. Like, that's not necessarily where we want to compete. Because I think while that is fun for some people, it's also overwhelming to a much larger part of the population that I think we can activate and get interested in sports.
Well, let me ask you something. Being a smaller company in the sports betting and online casino realm is challenging, but does it offer some opportunities that the bigger companies wouldn't even try? I mean, when it comes to sports books and online casinos, there are some things that an MGM or a Golden Nugget wouldn't even do. Do you see Boom Sports going places in terms of offering games and contests that no one else will?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that was actually what we became known for on the fantasy side, right? I think we were the first company to offer a Nathan Top Dog eating contest. We were the first company to offer a jackpot contest. A lot of these were eventually adopted by the bigger guys, but it allowed us to sort of take some chances. We were the first company to offer a single game DFS contest. When you're smaller, it does allow you to take some sort of chances, and I think develop that reputation for being an innovator. And I think that's definitely true on the sportsbook side, both in terms of the kinds of contests or bets you offer, as well as just the kinds of products that you do. Like if you're MGM Resorts, you're a big company. You can only take, my guess is they only feel comfortable taking so many risks, right? They have a lot to gain, but they also have a lot to lose. Where for Boom, as a relatively smaller player, we just have a lot to gain, right? And so, we may create a sports book that is themed Ohio, right? Like we may create a sports book really for the Cleveland sports fan that is really catered to them, where I don't think these bigger companies have the resources or necessarily the willingness to create such a customized product for a few markets, right? They've invested so much in creating a uniform product for all markets that they can just sort of like copy and paste into a new market. And I think that is an opportunity for us to really set ourselves apart.
Stephen, I want to get your opinion on the present situation that we're all in with regard to the coronavirus. I mean, I'm sitting here in New Jersey. I have online casinos, online poker, online sports betting, and I've been talking to a lot of industry people from around the country, and they all said, I wish I had that kind of safety net for the gaming industry. I mean, you have a company in the online and mobile gaming industry. Do you see that this present situation could change the mind of lawmakers around the country and allow online casinos and online sports betting in more states?
I mean, I think it'll have to, right? And that's just sort of, in some ways, like, you know, I'm laughing at this. It's a sad laugh, you know. From a macro standpoint, you know, this is not good, right? Like, but I do think from a gaming and legalization perspective, you will see positive trends because, I mean, if you think about it, like, why isn't online poker or online sports betting legal in more of the country? And it's because the politicians have decided that, you know, there is more of a risk to legalizing them than not, right?
Yeah.
But when you fast forward to a climate like today, and, you know, because so many businesses are hurting and so many people are hurting, therefore tax revenue is hurting. And, you know, if you look at, I think, you know, I saw something in Nashville, Tennessee, they were thinking about increasing the house taxes, like some ungodly percentage. And like, if you're a state legislature, what's more risky? Increasing the taxes double on your citizens or legalizing sports betting? Like, it's almost a no-brainer. Mm-hmm. And so I actually think that a lot of states that probably would have been a little bit slower to legalize gaming will certainly look to do so. Hopefully they do so in a way where the tax rates are still favorable for the industry. But I definitely expect legalization to accelerate in the next 2 years.
Stephen, if people want to check out Boom Sports and Boom Fantasy, where can people go to find out all about it?
Yeah, I mean, go right to our app. Go on the App Store. So you can look up Boom Fantasy. You can look up any of our partner products. So NBC Sports Predictor is one of our big ones. NASCAR Finish Line is another one. And, you know, we'll be continuing to launch new products in the months ahead, both for ourselves and for new partners. And so, you know, just be on the lookout.
Stephen Murphy, CEO and founder of Boom Sports, thanks so much for coming on and telling us about these incredible things happening to Boom Sports. Hope you come back and keep us updated on what's going on with Boom Sports.
Will do. Thanks so much.
Stay tuned for more Turnpike Sports.
We like to think that we live in a nice, safe neighborhood. The truth is that a burglary occurs every 13 seconds, and homes without a security system have a 300% greater chance of getting broken into. How many homes in your neighborhood were robbed yesterday? You need to start protecting your home and family today. Call now to get state-of-the-art protection. To keep your family and property safe, call the number on your screen now. Representatives are standing by to assist you. Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. If your employer doesn't supply health care coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private health care is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. To get the coverage you need, call the number on the screen now.
Turnpike Sports Book Report.
And the Turnpike Sports Book Report is brought to you by BorgataSports.com. Your favorite casino is now your favorite sports book, available anywhere in New Jersey. BorgataSports.com. Sign up at BorgataSports.com using our promo code PIKE, that's P-I-K-E, and you get a risk-free bet up to $300 and 20 bonus dollars at BorgataCasino.com. Must be 21 years or older and in New Jersey to place a bet. Terms and conditions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Lots of interesting stuff happening in the sports betting world, business-wise anyway.
Well, you know, we got a combination of good, bad, and creative.
Okay.
Let's start with the bad because of the coronavirus shutdown.
Sure.
We have Iowa reporting their sports betting numbers. They had reported in April a record low revenue of only $150,000.
Wow.
The overall handle for the state was $1.6 million. That's for the month of April.
All right. Well, you know, it's certainly they have a valid excuse for being low. I mean, I'm surprised that other states aren't like this, but, you know, I guess table tennis is more popular in New Jersey than Iowa.
Could be, but they only had 13 of their 19 books operating.
Okay.
6 are retail, so they're shut down.
All right.
The online sports books were running, and it was just a really down month.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Going over to Nevada. Let's do the creative.
All right. This is the creative part?
This is the creative. Nevada's sports books have, you know, they have that requirement to go into the casino and finish the registration, even if it's a mobile sports book.
Yeah, let's explain this a little more because I think it's extremely silly and stupid, and other states have this as well. In order to play or place a bet online, you have to start the registration of your sports book if you're in Nevada online, but then finish up in person at the sports books. And since the sports books are closed down this month, I guess this is the creative part. There's a drive-through, right?
Well, what Nevada has tried to do with the in-person registration at the casinos is actually just to alleviate fraud and all that stuff.
Okay.
And I understand that.
Yeah, I get it. But, you know,
it's a difficult registration process when you have a situation like this. Hopefully we never have another situation like this. But once you do register at the casino, finish your registration, and complete your deposits, you can actually bet from anywhere in Nevada.
Okay.
Once you have it registered. But
just as a point of reference, we're sitting here in New Jersey, and New Jersey does not have that requirement. No. If you want to register for an online sports book, you go online and you register for a sports book, you deposit your money, and you start betting. There's no requirement in New Jersey to go to the physical sports book to finish your registration process.
Right, but a lot of states do have it, and you know, it's something they have to reconsider at some point, I think, anyway. But right now,
I thought it was silly even before this situation that we're in, but, you know.
Well, it's just proven right that
I don't know if it's proven right, but it's just weird.
You really should have, if you're doing online, just go straight online.
Hey, and I'm not holding New Jersey up to the example of everything, because they have that strange restriction of if you're in New Jersey, you can't bet on a college or university that is located in the state. So we have weird rules as well.
But, you know, it's one of those things. Yeah. And given the fact that you can't go into the sports books now to finish up your registration process, there are 6 sports books that are doing drive-through registrations.
Which is great. Yeah, good for them.
South Point is doing it. Circa is doing it. And there are 5 locations for William Hill that are doing it. The Alamo Casino, Arizona Charlie's Boulder, Arizona Charlie's Decatur, and the Plaza are all doing curbside registrations for their sports books.
So actually there are 7 spots.
No. And then there's one in Reno, which is Sierra Sid's. There are 6.
Okay, I get it. There's 6.
Sorry, there are 7. South Point, Circa, and the 5 by William Hill.
Okay.
That's 7 in Nevada.
Okay, in Nevada. But
6 in Vegas.
6 in Vegas, and 7 overall. There's 1 in Reno.
One in Reno. And again,
very creative, by the way. I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, they're either in the parking lot at the valet stands, but they're actually doing a drive-through service where you can go up, don't have to get out of your car.
But I'm assuming you still have to wear a mask and gloves and be protected. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you just do the registration process there, and then once you're done your registration, your deposit, you can go on your merry way and bet from wherever the hell you are.
Bet on ping pong.
There you go. Table tennis. Table tennis. Get the correct name. The technically correct name.
Yeah, I know on the books they call it table tennis, but it's ping pong.
And speaking of ping pong or table tennis, Colorado just launched May 1st, and the early betting numbers coming in are showing that The most popular sport is European table tennis.
Yeah.
Now, that was before UFC here. I think UFC is going to change that, possibly.
Sure.
They had...
I have to tell you, here in New Jersey, I forgot what... It might have been Sugar House. Play Sugar House. They were streaming table tennis.
Yes.
They were actually... You can bet on the site. They actually
They're still streaming table tennis.
It's a very interesting game to watch.
But a couple other big numbers to look at. FanDuel reported the biggest win so far on their site. Again, this is before UFC numbers come in. Was $1,400 on Belarusian soccer.
Which I have lost every bet I ever placed on Belarusian soccer. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. I'm saying soccer from Belarus.
There you go.
So,
and the biggest bet up to now has been $882 on Dallas to win the Super Bowl.
Okay.
DraftKings also reported taking over 2,000 bets on the NFL season so far.
Oh, sure. I mean, after the NFL draft, I'm sure the futures market is booming right now.
And last but not least, we have Indiana. They've added the KBO, the Korean Baseball League.
Okay.
And 3 new registrants, Discovery Golf, MLB Advanced Media, and Whistle Sports Network have all become licensed sports betting, whether they're operators or they're advertisers or marketing firms. They've been added into the mix for Indiana. And as we're talking right now, Indiana just released their sports betting numbers. The total handle for Indiana in the month of April was $26.3 million, with Ameristar Casino leading the way, $13.6 million. Total revenue brought in for sports wagering in April was $148,000, all due to the COVID shutdown. I'm sure those numbers would have been a lot more.
Okay.
Virginia has also announced a accelerated timeline for their sports betting. They're talking about Christmas, and also possibly even earlier for launch of sports betting in Virginia.
Okay. The Turnpike Sports Book Report was brought to you by BorgataSports.com. Your favorite casino is now your favorite sports book, available anywhere in New Jersey. BorgataSports.com. Sign up at BorgataSports.com using our promo code PIKE. That's PIKE, and you get a risk-free bet up to $300 and 20 bonus dollars at BorgataCasino.com. Must be 21 years or older and in New Jersey to place a bet. Terms and conditions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Well, that'll do it for us. Another fun and interesting week in quarantine here in New Jersey, and seeing all the businesses that the sports books have going on, and the
COVID country.
Yeah, it's pretty strange, but I think we're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel.
All the plans are coming in for reopening.
So
the leagues are bringing in their relaunching plans as well. So live sports should be coming back. We just had our first live sports weekend, so more should be coming.
Well, that'll do it for us this week. Stay home, stay safe, and we'll see you next time on the Turnpike.